Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to an exciting, innovating, and amazing Propagandacast with me, your host and Pearl Dane, the one, the only master propaganda hero, psych defender of the fatherland, off here to a glorious 1v1 on Amilly Fields. One of the best 1v1 maps around, I think, here. Up north, we got Skeletron fighting here for America, freedom, democracy. Taking on the role here of the 3rd Armored Divisional Mechanized, featuring mechanized groups. Sherman tanks with 7.6mm guns, M21 mortar half-track, cavalry riflemen, and combined arms. In the south, it is the angriest of the Dutchmen, the angry Dutchman, supposedly also heir to the barony of Grovendonk. That is just a rumor. Fighting here with Elite Armour with 221s, emergency repairs, Panzer Commander, heat shells, and the Sturm Tiger forming up here with the 111th Panzer Brigade. Skeleton with the Rifle Squad, Dodge truck start with double focus here for Angry Dutchman. And as always, a big hearty thanks to my patrons, supporters, champions, and heroes, one and all. And for that, then, the Propagandacast would not be possible. Big thanks to all their glorious support here. Other people can join ranks by Patreon. That would make me happy. You can also donate via PayPal. Links are in the video description. And finally, just comment, like, share, subscribe. Talking about the video gets the YouTube algorithms, to spread it out more. So, stuff like that also helps. Anyways, and finally, you can also consider pre-ordering Companies Free if you're going to do that via the link in the comments, and use the code DUKE3G, in which case I get a cut of the sale. So, fast track here, that'll be a fast 2-1 here for Angry Dutchman. Reactions over the Sturmpionier, M1 carbines with the Sturmgewehr. Rifle Squad flanking in here on the Sturmpionier as well, catching Angry Dutchman. Sturmpioneers there in a bit of an awkward spot. There's not a lot of cover for them to hide about. Plus, as they've all been spotted here, they can't really use the terrain to hide out in. So, not really great spot in here. They're going to be focused on a range here. And we can see that Angry Dutchman, I think, quickly realizes this engagement is going to only go further and further pear-shaped here. For him, he sticks around, so he just retreats. And that, I think, was definitely by far the smartest move. Of course, this does mean Skeletron is off to a fairly strong start here, getting access to and control, likely, of both fuel points. We've got the Dodge rocket grab points, as it can grab points fairly well. It can also be upgraded to 50 cal later on. And it can transport troops. It's basically a bigger and better Kubelwagen in most respects, except, of course, it's not called a Kubelwagen. Goddamn Nazi stealing the name Kubelwagen. Now, we can't call our cars Kubelwagens. Why would we do that, Sarge? Reasons. 5th cal on the way there, 2-1 almost on the Angry Dutchman. That's definitely going to make things tough a bit tougher there for the Dart truck here for Skeletron. There you go, 2-1 out. Leichte Panzerspielwagen, 221. Rolling out here, going for the car point. Of course, Skeletron right now, I think, is going for a fairly fast tech as well here. So, crucially, he doesn't have, anything to seriously stop this 2-1, which is also why Angry Dutchman is rushing out. So, it's like a fast start truck. If you're not going for 2-1, it can be difficult to stop. The fast 2-1 is, in these situations, similar for the Americans, pretty tough to deal with. He doesn't have, any immediate snares, 50 cals, or light vehicles. Lieutenant, of course, can be relatively quickly equipped with a bazooka, which can help, but of course the Dart truck upgrade has a slight delay. The armor car's rushing west, so he needs to retreat the Rifle Squad now, and needs to get the Dart truck away as well here before Angry Dutchman turns it into, well, pile of scrap metal. So it's going to have to dodge out of there before Angry Dutchman just rips it apart, and it does look like here Skeletron was, unfortunately for himself, too slow for Angry Dutchman. Very good for him, of course, obviously. Garlic coming in here. Not a bazooka upgrade. No. The Dodge truck actually survives it. He might, in fact, even take out the 2-1 in a surprise upset as the 5th cal of the Dodge truck can actually damage the 2-1, as you notice here. But no. The 2-1 also narrowly survives. That is an incredible series of events here. In the south, we got the reason they're going for the car point. Smart play there for Skeletron. We got cavalry riflemen there. Bit shot munitions over the Thompson. I imagine he's going to add those. But looks like he is not going to bother here with the bazooka on the lieutenant. Got the Dodge there conducting some self-repairs before setting out again. Looks like he is going to equip them with the Thompsons and not go for bazooka. Still, but going for the car point here, he messes with Angry Dutchman's already, shall we say, limited economy here in the early game. We do have a Panzer rig up here, so I imagine in part in response to the Dodge truck, but also I imagine an expectation, of course, that Skeletron will be committing to fast light vehicles like a Stuart or M20, in which case, of course, having a Panzerschreck will at least help him up somewhat. Quick retreat here, pushing up north here. So far, Skeletron is just off to a really great start here versus Angry Dutchman, even with setbacks happening. He turns around, there we go, the Dodge truck knocks out the 2-1. A hell of a blow there against Angry Dutchman in the early game, what was supposed to, be his, key factor in gaining early map control, has gotten completely ruined here by the dart truck, and it's just bigger machine gun. East out there, filtering out there, laying on some sandbags there. There we go. Popping them into there, it's going to go straight for the next unit here. We do have the Battlefield headquarters now on the way for the Angry Dutchman, but still his start is looking really rough here against the Americans as Skeletron just keeps pouring on the pressure of freedom and democracy. Not great yet though for neither the lieutenant or the cav rifleman though. Panzer there lands great here on the dart truck, doesn't take it out. Cancel on a bit more punishment before it goes kaboom. And in the far east here, the filters move straight for the fuel point here. Angry Dutchman knows he has to like mess with Skeletron's economy. He has to slow it down here. He's going to be in a lot of trouble. Plus, of course, he needs to ensure he gets fuel as well. Still an upgrade there. I'm a bit surprised here, but still, cav rifleman with the grease guns are still quite impactful. But you really want the Thompsons because they are really, really good. Got the car on the ambulance here for Skeletron. Delays his Stuart light tank by, I think, like a few seconds. That's it. Like, it doesn't even delay it, I think. He just needs to, like, press the button and get it Stuart here and give Angry Dutchman a, well, further bad time again. So far, though, Skeletron might be debating with himself whether or not he wishes to commit to a Stuart light tank here. Like, he might even think, you know, he can just get away with just rushing ahead here. Bloodhound gun it off there, but that doesn't help much against Skeletron here. Filter they're being routed and absolutely just sent through a gauntlet of freedom and democracy. Cash is piling up. They've only pulled Friedrich there alive, and even then, he may not make it back home for Bratwurst and Ersatzkaffee. And there you go. Full wipe here. Another stinging defeat here to Angry Dutchman in the early game here. Another glorious win for freedom and the free world. So we'll have to see what Angry Dutchman does next. I mean, his resource economy is not looking great. Casualties are not looking great. I mean, Skeletron is so far in most ways just absolutely nailing it. Good reinforcement healing here. We got a academy for Angry Dutchman. Obviously, this dart truck has quickly become a massive threat here. Skeletron, as you can see, there's been quite well able to utilize its high mobility and DPS here versus Angry Dutchman. Certainly highlighting the power of such vehicles in the right hand. So there you go. Sturmpion over the Panzerschreck. Another shot this time, though. Miss hits a nearby brick shed. And Raketten with almost something Angry Dutchman. It does look like Skeletron is basically thinking, you know, I've got enough. And he's in fact going to move straight on to the Major. He's going to go for a 7-minute Major. That is pretty fast. But I think also testament just the sheer amount of early map control here that Skeletron be able to like leverage versus the Angry Dutchman. In this case, he's just going to like, you know, push straight ahead for tanks. And honestly, that makes a ton of sense. And obviously, I don't think he's been punished for going for Stuart here, but unless like he now proceeds to do some really big mistakes, I don't think there's going to be like any inherent punishment here. Rather like, say, a fast Sherman, Scott, or 76mm Sherman here could be all great versus the Angry Dutchman right now. So there's easily like, you know, I think a lot of possibilities for Skeletron here right now to further snowball this match against the Angry Dutchman, who is slowly moving ahead here, finishing the barbed wire here. They probably want to get some units over here to grab the fuel point while he's doing so. Dart truck rushing ahead here. MD-34 almost on there for the Angry Dutchman. Both sides they're going for the machine guns. And there you go, Kedma shoots and misses the dart truck again. Western Pont's being seized. I mean, so far, Skeletron just continues to enjoy an immense early game here. Can only imagine he's feeling pretty satisfied about himself currently. Heading towards the center here, a swinging column there for Skeletron. The guards from assault after the Angry Dutchman has been increasing their firepower a bit. Of course, also signals he's got the Panzerfires ready now. Finally found out where they were being stored. The Kedma for there. Almost takes out the dart truck. Once more, Skeleton's like there, holds like nothing else, and the dart truck survives. Leerson's quickly popping up to repair it. Could try and sneak up here on the right side to go for the victory point there. He definitely may want to do something for the victory points in the near future. Though so far, the only thing that seems to be going right for Angry Dutchman is the victory point lead over Skeletron. That's for now. West side, another heavy attack here from Skeletron. Cav Rifle and Raft Court there, pushing back the filter communities, and we do get the Thompsons to augment the grease guns. Raft Court caught here, but again, as the flank collapse here, Angry Dutchman has to pull back the machine gun. We even got Skeletron calling in an artillery strike here, just to make sure. Wow. I feel like that was a bit excessive. That's a Sedacty man to hit the retreating full squad a bit there, and could result in a wipe here on the Angry Dutchman. Another wipe here. Good. Got above, and no. narrowly survives it despite the Fulton squads arriving here to the front line, almost resulting in a wipe there because they're actually blocking the retreat path there. Good golly. But he's actually gone for a lot of infantry now. Like, he's basically been looking to make up for the earlier losses and the just, you know, other issues by just now flooding the field with Fulton grenadiers, as that's, well, really all he can do now. Because going for a flat cap attack here, well, certainly helpful as the infantry and light vehicles, but probably mean he fell too far behind in the field race against Skeletron and would just be wrecked by Sherman. So, I don't blame him for, like, you know, just moving ahead for something bigger than that. Instead of going for a flat craft attack here. Since Skeletron is about to hit him with a Sherman tank. It's routed. But again, the fuel point has been hit. Angry Dutchman's economy continues to look like, quite frankly, a bit of a mess. West side, you've got Truth Project Force there for Angry Dutchman looking to expand the Reich's territories. And there goes Skeletron with the M4A3 Sherman tank here. Ready to give the Germans a further headache. One thing I think Skeletron could consider now he's got the Sherman on the way there is to add some upgrades to his men, some BARs for the remaining riflemen and the lieutenant. I think would be an excellent addition here for Skeletron. Plus, of course, add some bazookas to the reissues in the major for some extra bazooka teams. And I think that could just only further add to like Skeletron's already like impressive force here. Sherman almost done. And certainly in this situation, like, should he go for the 75mm and or the 76mm? In this case, there's, you know, he's so far ahead here, the 75mm makes more sense because the Tiger Explosion rounds are going to be amazing here versus the Angry Dutchman. It's not like he has any tanks to worry about anyways, so, I mean, yeah, I definitely should just go for the 75mm Sherman here versus the Angry Dutchman. Another artillery strike here by Skeletron. And I think at this point, though, he should just add some BARs to his men rather than calling all these artillery strikes. Besides that one kill, they're not really achieving too much as the Angry Dutchman, I feel. I feel like adding some bars would have a much better return on investment, if you will, here for Skeletron versus the Angry Dutchman currently. All the way, the Sherman has arrived. There you go. Rolls ahead here, got the high closure shells loaded up. Dart truck also flanking in here. It's a heavy assault, but there you go. Concussive grenade slightly slows down the assault. Second Cannon have to help deal with the Shermans here. Settler Cannon was also deeply exposed. Fortunately, Angry Dutchman did spread them out there, so they can't easily, you know, both outmaneuvered at the same time. Now we got a counterattack here with the Fulton Grenadiers here. A desperate fight for Angry Dutchman right outside the doorstep to his own base, as Skeletron has at it. Sherman there just blasts away with the Harrisburg shells, cleaving more dead Germans in its wake. It does seemingly push back his Skeletron somewhat. Ace level dodge with already 6 kills. Casualties keep piling up. You got reinforcement healing there. Moving up the west side with the Sturmpioneer. Dart truck there for the... Oh, not dart truck. It's an actual truck. That'll be set up for the Schwerpanzer quarters. And then imagine an eventual move here from Angry Dutchman. Maybe even some orbital lighting loses more foot. So we've got artillery called in here, I think, to cover an advance here. Basically by Angry Dutchman. Prevent going with the victory point. Sharp play there by Skeletron. Dart truck there. Almost knocked out again and once more. Escapes the wrath of the Angry Dutchman. Sherman almost good to go. That said, I feel like he's repairing it too close to the front line here. Like, if his opponent was a bit more aggressive, just in pursuit, they could technically like, deal some heavy damage to the Sherman. Or even like theoretically like, clear out the crew and then steal it. So, definitely very risky there by Skeletron to repair the Sherman that close to the front line. And typically, I'd not advise you doing that. Particularly not as the Americans, especially even further when there's nothing else near it. I feel like there's like a lot of mistakes there pile onto one there with that Sherman repair. In this case, of course, nothing happened, but that still does mean, you know, it can't be a mistake he's making just because it doesn't get punished. Dart truck trying to break the Fultons here. And again, we can just see Skeletron is just controlling the field here. Angry Dutchman really needs to work hard to get in that field, but of course Skeletron is just making it as difficult as possible here for the Angry Dutchman, which of course he should. Jump down to half health here though. Could knock it out here. There you go. Pantherfast off. Almost got it, but... And... Oh, I thought he suffered a wipe there, but he's almost got the wipe anyways. And... somehow survives. Tilly called in on the cables in pursuit. He still got the Rifle Squad blocking, and there you go, forced retreat. And once more is unable to finish off the Sherman as well. Even the assault continues here as they take no damage from their artillery, because I don't know why they didn't apply friendly fire to that. All the way further out here for Angry Dutchman, he still remains in an absolutely horrific position here. He's fighting valiantly, bravely, but Skeletron is just punching away here. Reinforcing healing here, he needs to reinforce, he needs to get his men going, and there go another Sherman for Skeletron. More tanks, more pressure, more pain. Mine goes off at least, killing a few men there. Sherman being repaired here by Skeletron's heroic tank crews. And there you go, Leerson's wiped. A small win for Angry Dutchman. In a sea of misfortune, he finds a small beacon of light and punches us out. More Leerson's there for Skeletron to repairs, and probably also sweep for mines. Victory points while Skeletron is now significantly ahead here of Angry Dutchman with 397 versus 299. And Fed 4 setting up, 4 kills, virtually 2. That's pretty good.
We're losing a capture point.
That is pretty good. Heading eastwards there, more mines there. In the west here, the Fulton's quickly right here by the Sherman, as he's got all of his anti-tank weapons in the east. There is the anti-tank weapons! So on the other end of the map. Oh, scheiße, not again. Why is it always the other end of the map say it is? Pushing eastward sea, right into the mine there, losing only though Lewis. In the center here, they got the big push here with both Sherman Snipers striking Angry Dutchman like a pair of rampaging elephants into the shower. Charging straight into the cables, completely outmaneuvered. Angry Dutchman thing here makes the smartest choice, which is just to hit retreat, because Oz is just risk getting wiped. Even then, you can see here, he's actually using the other Sherman to block the retreat path for the Kenner line for a wipe there. So even here, even him just doing as a timely retreat as he can, 2 Shermans with high explosive shells, just able to like just mess with the Angry Dutchman, and he's going to be able to like, seize the Kenner from the Angry Dutchman. This is just horrific. We even got smoke here to deal with the schwerpunted quarters, and he wipes the Sturm Pioneers. Angry Dutchman's situation remains absolutely horrid. He keeps fighting though. He is a believer in NC, but good golly is Skeletron just having at him like a really, really nasty examiner at an exam that just caught a student not having prepared for the exam itself. Another wipe here. Like the casualties are piling up, the corpses are just mountain high at this rate. This is an absolute massacre. I mean, Skeletron is taking some losses here as well, but it is nothing compared to the sheer amount of pain and devastation inflicted on Angry Dutchman. Like, good God. Brutal here. Absolutely brutal. But Angry Dutchman is still in this. He still fights for the fatherland. Showing them being hauled back, and there you go, he naps the Kednev here right under his nose, but there you go, Schwerpunted Quarter secures the wipe here, ensuring that things don't get exponentially worse for the Angry Dutchman, because trust me, had his opponent run off that, that would have been infinitely worse for him. That said, Angry Dutchman is still in a really, really, really bad place. And I'm not talking Stalingrad. Troops heading here towards the eastern victory field point again. Might want to sneak up some forces westwards if he can spare them. In fact, he's actually got 3 Raketen of his knights, and of course he went for a 3rd one because he's expecting to like lose the other one. Well, on one hand, he's never going to be in short versus armor, but in theory, like Skeletron was like maybe commit heavily to infantry, it could leave Angry Dutchman in a bit of an awkward spot. So we'll have to see how this works out. In the center, they've got the Major moving forwards. Major Miles. Munitions cache for Skeletron is an interesting pick. I would not expected that one here from a mechanized player. It makes you wonder what he's planning. He's actually going for another cache? Yeah, he's going for double munitions caches. Ha! Huh. That is a very unorthodox move. I mean, you rarely see like caches in 1v1 matches, but he's actually going for like double munitions caches. Like, is it grenades? Is there like a surge for weapon rack units, web stuff there? Blah. That completely backfired, by the way, there. Or is it like he's acting to use combined arms? I have no idea, but whatever the case, he's just built 2 munitions caches. Which definitely gives him a bit of munitions lead over the Angry Dutchman, for sure. But for what purpose, though? I have absolutely no clue. Meanwhile, we got Angry Dutchman in his first tank day, 20-minute mark, Panzer IV model, yay. Really just highlighting the absolute iron grasp Skeletron's had here on Angry Dutchman's fuel economy. He's clearly just waiting for the tank. He's not going to push forwards without a Panzer here versus Skeletron right now. But what Skeletron's planning is harder to say. He's clearly not going for another M43, I think. So I think it might be the same Sherman. It might even be like a Jackson here from Skeletron. I mean, at this point, you'd have to imagine he's expecting some armor soon here from Angry Dutchman. And there you go. The Panzer IV Model J has arrived. So they've got the folks being hammered here by the Sherman. There we go. 76mm Sherman there for Skeletron. Freedom and democracy. Panzer IV running forwards here for Deutschland. A full steam ahead move there, but not quite a full armored assault. Troops running out in the west here. May want to pull back that unit. Sherman there's on the way. But no real indicator what they intend to do with all that munitions. I think it might actually be just to call in artillery, I guess. I mean, that is a strategy, but it's super rare. He did actually get a wipe here on Skeletron. Another racing squad there wiped out. Small win there for Angry Dutchman on Skeletron. A small win, and he certainly needs every win he can scrape together right now. Replacing the Lost Doom Pioneer, very good. Thumbs up, and we got the 76th Sherman out there for Skeletron. And the 3rd Armored Division here, ready to clash with the 111th Panzer Brigade. For those wondering what a Panzer Brigade was, it was a fairly late war formation. It was overall intended to fight the Surge, but most of them was actually committed against the Americans and the British. So, little fun fact there. German Russian westwards here, right at the Fultgrenadiers. Got the Kevin landing, great shot there right through the Sherman front armor. And there we go, Sherman flying around here, heading into the troops, but this time though, goes a bit too deep and underestimates how much anti-tank weaponry here Angry Dutchman has. The only bit of good luck here for Skeleton was that Angry Dutchman was too slow to pop a Pantherfast on the Sherman, otherwise that Sherman would have been dead. And even then, it may still be, as Angry Dutchman is in full pursuit here. He wants that Sherman dead. He's even popping the heat shells. But there you go, mine's going off. The Sherman needs to quick turn around corner here. Didn't turn the corner. That was a definite mistake. He should have driven around. He's the Panther IV couldn't just shoot in a straight line at it. So, bit of a mistake there for Skeletron here. Perhaps he's getting a bit too confident. There you go. Second Sherman in some deep shots. Getting hit by Kedmaps and of course the Sherman. And the second Sherman goes up in flames within a matter of seconds after the first one. That is a huge loss here for Skeletron. Like, that was just pretty much his entire advantage straight out the window. Overconfidence is indeed a slow and insidious killer, or in this case, really fast and explosive. Got orbital enough Angry Dutchman. He's clearly, I think, realizing, he's got the advantage now, and he's just going to pour on as much as possible here to make it as difficult as possible for Skeletron to like stage anything resembling a comeback. He's going for another 76mm Sherman. He needs something that can reliably penetrate the Panther IV Model Year's armor, so that obviously makes a lot of sense. At this point, he may also want, like I mentioned, consider going for the Captain just from regular anti-tank guns, maybe. He also needs to start making up for his infantry losses. He's got next to nothing left now here versus the Angry Dutchman. Next to nothing left. Like, he's got a few squads of infantry, a machine gun, the major, the ambulance, and that is soon as shown. But he's otherwise lacking a lot of elements, whereas Angry Dutchman at this point has a much larger force. So I think in part there, Skeletron needs to make up for some of the infantry losses he has suffered here versus the Angry Dutchman. He's just got some weapon racks unlocked, I guess. 76mm Sherman almost done it for Skeletron. We got 78 versus 391. Quite a difference there. And there's certainly an argument to have. He should Skeletron really gone for 2 munitions caches. And certainly I think 2 is a bit excessive, particularly in that short amount of time. I feel like that's manpower they could have spent on more infantry, support weapons, or anything else. Like, I'm not saying he never should have gone for 2 munitions caches entirely, but I think the way he did about it, I think just meant too much manpower too quickly, just went towards, non-frontline units. Still, it's not game over yet. You can still turn this around with a few well-executed attacks here on Angry Dutchman's flanks and gain control of the victory points for long enough to win this, but at the same time, there's also clearly some big threatening elements on the horizon here from Angry Dutchman's side. Full screen Demon Forts here, 3 kills of Veteran 2. Hardly the most imposing stormtroopers in the German army here. There you go, Sherman almost good to go again here for Skeletron. To go. Probably getting the Panther 4, good shot, easily goes through the frontal armor there. East side, we got the cav rifle pushed back. Could upgrade with the Thompsons, of course, here for extra anti-infantry. I think that'd be a really good addition. Bit more drooling here in the west side. A Skeleton is once more finding himself being contained by the Angry Dutch in the east center here. Got to push again. But we can see there Angry Dutch is, I think, putting up a much firmer and robust front line here versus Skeletron than they did earlier in the game. Sherman 40, 3 kills, close veterans you won. Good shots being inflicted. Far east, we got the full square on the eastern point here. Back at base, trip reinforcing here, and we got the Major there standing about. But not really doing much. 5th Cavalry being flanked, the full being caught here, and our quickly suppressed Sherman moving in, plus the cavalry riflery looking to send their Angry Dutchman's flank force there, packing back to base. Another Panther with the Angry Dutchman certainly makes a lot of sense. You could, of course, consider like the 76 or the Yak Panther to help deal with the 76 with Sherman. Theoretically, we didn't go for a Panther, but I think just going for the Panther Force, Yak Panther Force here is by far the most cost-effective choice, especially with access to the heat shields on the Panther Force anyways. So I think in most regards here, Angry Dutchman's making the right choice here. 5th car there remaining duck in the east. Got more weapons being handed out. We got a Lieutenant there with a bazooka. Got the Major moving about as well. And we got the Panther on the move here for Angry Dutchman. 16 kills, Veteran 2 there. Second Panther 4 right around the corner here for the Angry Dutchman and the 111th Panther Brigade. Far west, we got rifles coming up there. Go engage by the cannon for a great hit on the Sherman, pushing it a bit further up. Whoops, the health total there. We go down a half health. Really starting to sting here for Skeletron. He was the Angry Dutchman. Panther passed off here. Good shot on this full screen. Pushing them back here, but then at the same time, not quite committed to retreating yet. Lieutenant up here. Bravo Squad pushing out to the building now as well. He fixing up the Sherman, even as Angry Dutchman might be lining up for an assault to finish it off. He can soon go for another 76 Sherman here, which could give Angry Dutchman Panther Force a bit of a harder time as long as he stays clear of the 3 Raketenwerfers. Bravo Squad then shot with the Panther 4. Far east here we got the point that being seized. 2 squads of infantry plus the Panther 4. And there we go. Another 76 mm Sherman there for Skeletron. And the 3rd Armored Division. Taking out the Sherman there. Far east here we got the Fultz with the 50 cal. And there you go. Panther 4 moving in. Engaging their Skeletron's beleaguered infantry. Sherman halfway done. Being on the center there. North, we got another push by Angry Dutch and another assault for the fatherland, leaving numerous Americans dead in the dirt.
We're losing a capture point.
Sherman almost done. That'll be 2 Shermans. Another light vehicle mine there, stunning a Panther 4 briefly. But without anything to really exploit it, it doesn't really matter. We also got one of the munitions caches now being destroyed here by Angry Dutchman. Thumbs up. Tenny the Obersoldaten. Not looking great for the Obersoldaten turning up with the arrival of the Sherman. But there you go, Raketenwerfer is already in position and steadily pushes back their Skeleton Sherman. We got 78 versus 283. The victory point gap between the two is steadily closing once more. Lieutenant Panther finding up north here. We got the 5th Cavalry Bravo Squad here with Anna Sherman as the Panther 4 here. And in the west, Hurricane keeps the other Sherman away there. Very good. Full bounce miss here between the Sherman and the Panther 4. Fairly fortunate there for both players. Sherman rolling ahead again. I think at this point, though, Skeletron needs to, like, you know, launch him an attack from another angle here rather than just engaging his opponent head on, because it just makes it easier for him to get, you know, focus all the anti-tank guns into one place, which is obviously not great for Skeletron's tanks. And there you go. Almost got a wipe here on Angry Dutchman, but looks like fortune once more slips through Skeletron's hands here like fine sand. Or something really slippery. Cat covered in grease, I don't know. Panther 4, their subs a sassel charge there. Incredible damage inflicted on the Panther 4 Model Ye, but not enough to finish it off. It can take more punishment for Deutschland. Panther 4, the firing away 6 kills, close to veterans 1, going for the car point here. Back here, Sherman's being fixed up here, even as the front line is slowly falling apart. Mine goes off. Skeleton's men are suffering further staggering casualties here as the Angry Dutchman leads his way to triumph with only 78 victory points left. I think at this point, Skeleton's chances of mounting a comeback are starting to look increasingly slim. Part of this, I think, just basically boils down to the way he's utilizing his forces and the way he's attacking Angry Dutchman. Like, he's just not outmaneuvering him, it's not outflanking him, which makes it much easier for the Angry Dutchman to defend against any assaults here from Skeletron.
Sherman, taking fire! We've dropped to 200 points.
Orbs them engaged for the Sherman.
Ready. Go ahead.
Other one arriving as well, going for the Western victory point. We got 78 versus 195. Steady armored assault here, but crucially, no support for the tanks. It's just the 2 tanks here against whatever else Angry Dutchman have here, but still, almost got on the Panther 4s. We've got heat shields being loaded as well. They almost got, there we go, the Panther 4. There we go. Knocked out. Forgot to knock out the Panther 4. It is virtually free with heat shells. Bad news, you've got the 10 rushing on the bazooka. Good shot there. Panther 4 down to 2/3 with health. There you go. The Sherman is almost knocked out. Virtually 4 Panther 4 now. And there you go. The Skeletron as well. There you go. The Sherman is down. And with that, Skeletron is out of the fight. A fierce fight here. And a hell of a comeback here for the Angry Dutchman. I think part, again, was in part that whole move to going for the double munitions cache. I think that was a bit too self-confident there by Skeletron considering the overall situation. But also, tactically, I think he just relied too much on brute force and not enough then outmaneuvering his opponent as the fight went on, which makes it much easier for the Angry Dutchman to extract high casualties from Skeletron and slowly turn the game around. So, there you go. Hope you enjoyed the match, learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell friends, tell family, but don't tell enemies. Consider donating or pledging on Patreon if you like what I do and wish to support it. Helps me a lot keeping the channel going. You can also, again, as mentioned previously elsewhere, you know, pre-order Companies 3 if you're going to do that, in which case, you know, use the link in the comments, use the CoH2 3G, in which case I get a cut of the sale. So thank you all for joining in. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you all tomorrow again for another episode. Bye.